Good evening, gamers, and welcome to another episode of the What I'm Playing Now podcast. We are on episode 47, and today is October 27th. We are almost to November, to the time change where we get an hour extra sleep this weekend, which I'm actually looking forward to, because it seems like the past couple weekends I just haven't been getting enough damn sleep. Because I've been playing so many damn games, which we are going to talk about during this episode. But let's start off with some of our initial stuff. Where can we be found? We can be found all over the internet. You can send us email at whatimplayingnow@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter at whatimplayingnow. Don't forget to drop the G. We do have a Google Plus page, plus.google.com/the plus sign What I'm Playing Now podcast. And then, of course, our slowly growing in popularity Twitch page, twitch.tv/what I'm playing now. Definitely would like some more follows there when we're doing some streaming. I did a stream this past Saturday on Sid Meier's Civilization Beyond Earth, which we will talk about later on in the episode. Actually don't have as many news stories this week as I have the past couple of weeks. So I'm going to try to, I think, cut down on some of the news stories and maybe go into some longer, in-depth discussions or talks on actually some of the board games and stuff I'm playing. So a few of the games I'm playing for this week, I actually have a few notes written down here rather than just trying to kind of do everything off my head and off the brain and trying to just bring back everything from what I played last Thursday when I was down at the game store. So I'm going to try to get prepared, I think, for doing things that way. Maybe spend a little bit more time doing that and maybe hit on fewer news stories and just try to pick out some of the stories that I kind of think are maybe just a little more noteworthy. Although usually I look through a whole ton of different websites and I only pick out, like 10 stories or so. So I'm actually cutting it down quite a bit from all the stories that are actually out there for the whole week. But I think I may try to even cut that down a little bit more and try to come up with maybe some more noteworthy speaking on some of the actual games that I played. So I think what I'm going to try to maybe do is also do some write-ups on the website, and they're not going to be as much reviews as they are maybe just like little overviews of some of the games. I'm not really too sure I can do reviews on a lot of the board games until I play them more than usually the once or twice that I'm kind of playing them, usually once a week. Some of the games that I do own, I can do reviews on, and I will start doing that, I think, in the future. But I think I'm coming up with a little overview piece that I can maybe do over the weekend and then maybe post maybe on Sunday night or so, maybe while I'm watching The Walking Dead. That might bring a little bit more traffic to the site, but let's jump into what I'm leeching now and quit babbling about what we're going to be working on in the future. So some of the sales and some of the little things and tidbits I've come up with for the week are Shadow of Mordor gets some free DLC. You can download the Power of Shadow DLC bundle. It basically gives you a different skin for Italian, your character that you're playing. I started to use this skin I think late Friday night when I was actually going through one of my runs, and I really like this skin. I think this skin actually looks really slick. If you haven't downloaded this one yet, it's free download. Don't pass it up. Grab it, go back in, play some more Shadow of Mordor, and I'm going to hit on Shadow of Mordor later on in the show from the What I'm Playing Now part, because I did actually play quite a bit more of Shadow of Mordor. So we are going to be revisiting that game later on. Got some news from Sony. They are having their Sale of the Dead. They have a whole bunch of sales going on over the next couple of weeks. They actually have week one sale, I think, goes until tomorrow, Tuesday, and then I think it changes, which is when Sony normally releases all of their PlayStation Network updates on their store and everything. They have a second week where they have a ton of different discounts and sales going on. These sales are not only for video games, they have both movies and TV shows that you can get discounts on for both weeks. Some of their digital HD prices for some of the movies, I think, are still a little too pricey. I hate to say. Some of them don't look too bad, but some of the HD prices are just you definitely want to get them on sale. Don't pay full price for them. It just, to me, some of the prices are just haven't come down enough for me. But that's just my feelings. Microsoft actually released a free Xbox One game. It's a game that up to 8 players or more can play. It's a little game called Voice Commander. It's the creation of Microsoft Garage. It sounds like a cool little game in where you can use the controller and voice commands through the Xbox One to actually play the game. If you have an Xbox One, definitely give this game a shot. It sounds like this game was kind of released or kind of announced and released all at the same time. There really wasn't much talk about this one, so it looks like it's a smaller game. It's only about a 370 meg download, so if you got the Xbox One, you definitely don't want to pass that one up this week. And one of the last sales that we mentioned, that I will mention here, a couple of sales on games for the PC. Dark Souls 2 for the PC. You can actually get a Steam key for less than $20, $19.47. Also, I did pick up Civilization Beyond Earth for just over $37 from Green Man Gaming. You do have to be signed on to their website and registered to their website and signed in to actually see the sale. If you just go to their website and click on Civilization Beyond Earth, the sale, or I don't want to say the sale price, the price will be $49.99. But if you are logged in, you can see that $37 price tag, which I believe is still going on. So for that being a brand new game, definitely don't want to pass that one up. So Green Man Gaming also has a couple other games that they have on sale. So check it out, just like Steam. I'm not going to talk about all the different Steam sales and everything in the Humble Bundles going on. But those were some of the big sales in the leeching you can do for the week. So go grab some of those things and then let us know what you're playing out of those things from those games. So, all right, we're going to get on to some news. And this is, I know there's a lot of people that don't like anime out there. I do watch anime. Attack on Titan is one of the shows that I actually like. That's on Adult Swim. That's been brought over here into the Western Seaboard lately, into the U.S. And it sounds like there was an Australian classification board that actually leaked some information as far as a possible Attack on Titan game that could be making its way over this way soon. So there was a 3DS game released earlier, I believe, this year. And this sounds like it might be a second one. I don't really think we have a name for this one yet, but it sounds like the actual publisher, and being Atlus USA, it's going to be across multiple platforms. So it sounds like it will be released on more than just the 3DS, like the last one was. The Last Wings of Mankind, which was that title that came out in December of last year. I'm kind of excited to see this one. I think this is a pretty sweet anime. I kind of like this one. Interested to see what type of game they're actually going to come out with. I really didn't pay too much attention to the 3DS game that came out last year that was based on this show, so I'm not too familiar with that. But I'm hoping that the game that comes out, hopefully on a system I have, like maybe play something PlayStation-wise, Vita-wise, maybe even, or even 360, I'd pick this up for. So we'll have to wait and see what actual type of game is coming out, but we're going to keep our eyes on an Attack of Titan game. All right, Hearthstone for the iPhone and Android phones, that release date is actually slipping into early 2015. It sounds like Blizzard is going to be releasing a version of Hearthstone for the Android tablets before the end of the year in 2014, but it sounds like they are pushing off both the iPhone and Android phone version of the game until 2015. It sounds like they're having some, I don't want to say they're having some trouble, but they're trying to make the user interface easier and a little bit probably easier on your eyes, since it's going to be on a much smaller screen than the tablets that people are using for the iPad, or even will be using for the Android-sized tablets. So they're probably just trying to make the screen just a little bit easier and the game just a little more customizable, or customized to play on the smaller screens, and so it won't be hindering the game any. I'm sure they want probably as good of a play experience as they can come up with. So we'll have to wait for that a little bit longer if you're waiting for that to come out on the phone. I wouldn't mind getting this maybe on a tablet version. Would be a game to sit around and screw around with and play maybe when I'm watching TV. Like I said before, I've played this for a little bit after it had come out on the PC, and when I'm up at my computer right now, I really don't want to sit here and just play Hearthstone. So I think this is a great game that would work well on portable units, like a tablet, like a phone, and you can do it as you're kind of doing something else, like watching a TV show, or if you're sitting downstairs hanging out with the wife and she's watching a TV show and she kind of just wants you to be around and you're not really interested in what she's watching. You can always pull up Hearthstone on your phone or your tablet and knock out a few card games. Don't say I said that, though. All right, our next news story is a story from Polygon. Papers, Please Dev is actually launching a demo for an nautical mystery game called Return of the Obra Dinn. This game looks kind of cool. If it's anything like Papers, Please, I have a feeling they'll definitely have a hit on their hands. You can actually get the demo from the developer's website, from Pope's personal website. Lucas Pope is the actual developer of the game, and check it out. I haven't had a chance to check it out yet. I wanted to pull the story and make sure I talked about it on the show so that other people can download it if they hadn't heard of this coming out yet. But I will be definitely downloading this probably after the show or later on this week if I don't get a chance to tonight, depending on how fast I can get the show edited, updated, and turned around and back up onto the site. So, but I definitely want to check out the demo for this. He says it's in the early versions of the game, so don't expect a lot of content in there, and it really hasn't been tested too much. There's no save progress yet that you can do in the game, so it's early version. Let's not complain or anything. Let's just enjoy it and just really relish in the fact that the developer has released something early for us to get our hands on. And I've talked about Papers, Please before when I was playing that game after downloading it on Steam, and that's definitely a game, if you have not played yet, you definitely want to pick up. All right, our next news story is about Outlast, and that was the creepy kind of horror game that was out, I believe, last. I had downloaded on the PS4 actually and was playing it on the PS4 as well, if I remember correctly. But they're actually coming out. The developer is actually coming out with two. It sounds a little different. Don't want the whole first game, so they're going to try to, from the quote they have here on the GameSpot article, we have some new ideas and themes we'd like to explore, and we think we're cooking up something special. So that should be pretty cool. I know I wanted to play a few more Halloween games and kind of horror games for the Halloween holiday season here that's going on right now. I have been so tied up between playing Shadow of Mordor, and then this weekend I downloaded Civilization Beyond Earth, and I really couldn't not play that game as my stream for Saturday night. So maybe this Friday, right before Halloween, maybe I'll try to do a Friday night special stream of something, maybe either Outlast on the PS4 or maybe even a horror game on the PC. I'll have to see. I have several different ones I can play, so I'll have to see what I can come up with. But maybe if I don't have anything going on Friday night, maybe I will try to do a special stream, or maybe even Friday and Saturday night. I know Wednesday night I'm definitely playing Diablo 2. It's been several weeks since I've touched Diablo 2. I think Shadow of Mordor has kind of controlled my life, so we'll get into that later, though. But Wednesday, we will be doing a stream on Twitch. I will be doing a stream on Twitch for Diablo 2, and we will be continuing our adventures there. So this is a next story on from Polygon. WildStar developer lays off 60. There's further cuts at NCSoft. Like I said last episode, I think when I had discussed some layoffs that were happening at Turbine, you never want to hear about this happening around this time of the year. Usually the holidays is when a lot of places start to cut back, and then after the first of the year, once new budgets and everything come in, people start doing some rehiring and things like that. It sounds like the division that basically had WildStar, at least the game, was probably because, which is also under NCSoft, who's the developer for Guild Wars, doesn't sound like they were hit that bad, if they were hit at all. But the Carbine Studios, which is the developer that actually did WildStar, had the most layoffs, I think, is what the article had said for Polygon. And I'm wondering if this mainly has to do with them going from basically a let's get the game finished and developed and out there into the world type of staff, back down to a normal business as usual. We are now that it's in a production type environment and we're not basically building it up anymore, we have a staff that can basically support the game as well as come out with new content. We don't need much, probably maybe as large of a staff as they probably needed during the time. I'm kind of just guessing on this. kind of did the same thing. Oh, not Bethesda, but they did the same thing for Elder Scrolls Online. Probably about a month or so after, I think they had a staff cut there, and I think that's common with a lot of software developers, where they will actually beef staff up while the game is in development before it's released, and then usually several months afterwards, they will maybe lay off some of the people that are no longer needed to do that needed to be done during that development phase, or they could be letting go of some contractors and stuff like that. But hopefully everybody that was hit by this, they can find something new, land on their feet. I have not. I heard pretty good things about it when it first came out, so I'm sure a lot of those developers should be able to find something new. All right, our next news story, and this is going to be close to our last one. And this is one from Major Nelson's website, and this is kind of pretty big news. I think this could probably be one of the biggest news stories, I would say, of the week. Microsoft's actually knocking $50 off the Xbox One price this holiday season. Now, the interesting thing will be, will this actual price cut stay with the system after the holiday season, or is this just going to be maybe up through the end of the year? We'll have to wait and see. But if you want any bundle right now, instead of, you can pretty much get any of the bundles, like the Assassin's Creed bundle, the Xbox One Special Edition Sunset Overdrive bundle for $349, or if you want the limited edition Call of Duty Advanced Warfare on sale for $449, I believe price of $499. So it sounds like they're just having $50 off all their bundles. So if you are looking for one, going to be the time to jump in it, because I probably would not expect another price cut like this to be seen until well after E3 next year, even not until possibly next holiday season, depending on how the Xbox One starts selling this holiday season. So this is actually pretty big. Not only have they gotten rid of the Ken down from $499 to $399, they're now a system with a game or two games in the Assassin's Creed bundle. You're actually getting the two games, Assassin's Creed Unity as well as Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag. I think I discussed that bundle last week, but you're getting the console as well as one, possibly two games for I'm hearing really good things about Sunset Overdrive. So if you're looking for a white Xbox One, grab the Sunset Overdrive bundle or any of the other bundles that Microsoft has out there. Like I said, great price cut for the holiday season. I have a feeling that Microsoft's going to see a spike in sales over this. We'll have to wait and see how big of one it will be, though. We have a little bit more news from Sony. They are releasing a major update to the PS4 tomorrow, and that is going 2.0 update firmware. And it sounds like there's just going to be a shitload of stuff in here. You're going to have the share play right now, where you're going to be able to have a local co-op experience and invite your friend to play your game, even if they don't own a copy of it. You're going to be able to upload your games from YouTube to YouTube now, your clips, instead of just going to Facebook. Themes and colors. They got live broadcasting enhancements. USB music player where you can plug in a USB memory stick and actually play your own music. Whole bunch of stuff. I will have links to their website as well as a video that you can watch that explains some of the stuff. I will definitely be downloading this immediately tomorrow once I get home from playing some dice. And our last story for the week is a story from Polygon. Classic Star Wars X-Wing and TIE Fighter games are getting digital releases after about 30 years. Or not after about 30 years. After about 20 years, I'd say. The games are actually getting digital distribution releases. Good old game signed an agreement with Disney. They're going to be getting around 30 games without DRM protection. Star Wars X-Wing Special Edition will include Star Wars X-Wing Collector CD-ROM and both Tour of Duty expansions, Imperial Assault and B-Wing, and of course Star Wars TIE Fighter will include the Defender of the Empires expansion, both the 1994 and 98 versions. Both of those will cost $9.99 on GOG. Had to mention this because I think this is the first time that these games are actually getting digital. So that's better for the news stories. We are jumping the what I'm playing now part of the show, and I played a crap load of games last week. One of the first games being Boss Monster, the dungeon building card game. I had a blast playing this game. basically you're going to have you divided the guy who had the game. He divided the room cards into a couple of different decks. We had a deck of spell cards. You draw from the room cards and a couple of spell cards. I think you had 5 cards in your hand. I think you start off with 7 card down to 5 cards. It's a pretty easy game to pick up. Basically, at the beginning of the game, what you do is you draw a boss monster. This is the basically boss monster of your dungeon. What you do from that is you then draw room cards and you try to build a dungeon that heroes will then have to try to go through. And these heroes try to get to your boss monster and basically kill him. So you, being the boss monster, are trying to build a dungeon that will basically destroy and, for lack of a better term, kill the heroes that are coming through all of the rooms before they get to you. It's a great little card game, great little strategy game, very easy to pick up. I pretty much owned a bunch of the cleric rooms right off the beginning, so I was getting all of the cleric cards and the cleric heroes sent my way. And once I got a couple of cards within my dungeon, I was able to have them and game by defeating 10 heroes. Or, well, I can't say 10 heroes. You're collecting hero souls. And normal heroes have 1 soul per card. But when you get into elite heroes, they have 2 heroes per card. So beat several heroes. I think one of them was elite, which pushed me actually up to like 11 points, 11 souls. So I had won the game. I can't say enough about this game. I think this is a great little card game. Like I said, very easy to pick up. I think it's timed perfectly. I think it's not too long of a card game. You could probably get several plays of this in one evening. Or like us, we actually did this right at the end of the night after I had played a very heavy game, which I'm going to talk about next. So it was kind of nice to just go back to something just a little bit more lightweight, which Boss Monster definitely is. I really can't wait to see the digital version of this game come out. I had backed this one on Kickstarter, so hopefully I should actually be getting a deck of actual Boss Monster cards here shortly, because I really want to introduce my wife to this game. And this is a game. It's inexpensive, very easy to pick up. I would definitely recommend this game to anybody who's looking for just a real good card game. It could be played with 2 to 4 players. Don't pass up Boss Monster. Next game that we had played, or I had played when I was down at board game night, was Lords of Zidit. So this game is a little bit heavier, let's say, than Boss Monster, and not just weight wise. Because when my local game store owner handed me the box and said, "Go through this, start reading through the rules, and let's get a group of guys together and go through a game of this tonight," I said, "Sure. Let me start putting together. Let me start punching all the pieces, everything, get the game put together, see how the game setup goes, and work on it from there." Well, probably about an hour later, I think, by the time I got all the little pieces punched out, all the little boards put together, and everything kind of constructed, and several other guys had showed up. One sat down and started reading the rules because he was kind of familiar. He was just going through everything real quick. But we finally got playing to the game, and wow, this was probably out of the past 6 to 8 months that I've really been getting back into board games. This game is definitely probably within my top 3, if not at the top of board games that I've played lately. And I was really surprised how good the game was. I've heard some pretty good things about the game, but it was just a game that once we were all done, we all just said, okay, that is a great board game. So what is so great about it, you may be asking? First of all, the movement, I guess you could say. So I guess let's start off with what the object of the game is. So the object of the game is you control a character who's basically going to go around on the board, and you're recruiting different how shall I say, different army people, or, that can basically help you and your different soldiers and build up an army. And you want to get various types of soldiers, because there's like farmers, wizards, and the crazy thing is throughout the whole game I had never gotten one wizard through the game. There's fighters, clerics, and I think there was archers. I think those are all the different type, and they're all basically lined up the different spots on the board. And the way you draw these different kind of soldiers are Whoever lands there first gets the lowest soldier first, and then it kind of goes up from there, and they're all basically in a circle. So if you're the first person there, you're probably going to get a far sure if they're the lowest player on there. Wizard seems to be the most strongest thing in the game. Type of soldiers you saw in the game, so they were basically the last one that anybody could get. So you're moving around the board, picking up different soldiers, and then you're going to other parts of the board, other parts on the board, which are tokens, which are different monsters, and you're using the soldiers and basically turning them back in to defeat the monsters to get to get a couple of different type of rewards. The type of rewards you can get are gold, Bard's tokens, or you can build wizard towers. And the interesting thing about the game is how you move around the board and how the whole turn basically. So in front of you, you will have this card that has 6 different dials on it, and you will set each different dial to possibly a different color, which will move you along the board. There's like roads that you can move along. And then there's action, and then there's an action icon on there that you can set, which will basically be you want to draw one of the soldiers, you want to attack one of the monsters, and I'm trying to think of what other types of actions there were. I think that's about it. I think those are the only 2 main actions you can do, or you can basically do nothing. But the interesting thing is, there's 12 years in a whole game, and each year consists of basically. That's what these 6 dials are for. So you're basically setting up a whole year through these 6 actions ahead of time, and you have to guess what all of your opponents are going to be doing, where they're going to be, if they're going to be going after the monster you're going after, if you're for them, when you're actually going after after one of the soldier types. You know, if you're the third one there, you could be getting a fighter, you could be getting a cleric, which is soldiers in the game. Or like I said, if you're the first one there, you could be ending up with a farmer. So there's a lot of strategy involved in this game because you're trying to basically look ahead, not only what your 6 moves need to be, but where everybody else on the board is going to be and what they are going to be doing in those 6 turns when you go to a square and you try to be able to even if there's on that, which makes really crazy at there, and we're just looking at each other like, okay, we're close to. If I go to the left, but he goes to the right, I'll be fine. But if both of us go down this, we're gonna go after the same thing. It can get really crazy really quick, and I thought I was actually doing pretty good. I got a bunch of the sorcerers guilds is actually what they're called, guilds built pretty much right off the bat, but I basically kind of fumbled and didn't take enough money. So the winning conditions in this game is the next thing that is really unique to this game. There's kind of 3 different levels to winning. So the 3 different items that I had mentioned earlier that you can get for actually destroying and defeating a monster, you need all of those things. So in our game, there were 5 of us playing, and when it came to the end of the game, after the 12th, basically, everybody counted up how many sorcerers guilds that there were, and you basically put everybody in a row from lowest to highest. And the 2 lowest players were basically eliminated. The next 3 then move on to the money part of the game, and everybody counts up their money. Everybody puts their money in appropriate order to lowest, and the lowest person is knocked out. And then the 2 people move on to the final part of the game, which are the Bard tokens, and those 2 count up their Bard tokens that are on the board, and the winner basically is the one who has the most Bard tokens. So it's a game where you can't just concentrate on one victory point, or one type of victory item. You have to concentrate on all of them and try to be well-rounded to make it into the later rounds. I was actually 1 gold short of not making it into the final round, which I just was almost standing on top of the table screaming that I couldn't believe that I had basically lost making it into the final round by 1 gold. I after having so many of the sorcerer guilds, but I can't wait to play this game again. I'm hoping maybe we can play it again this Thursday. The one big drawback for me is I would love to play this game at home, but it is a 3-player game. Like I said, it's 3 to 5 players, and with it just being me and my wife here, we don't have a lot of other friends that really do a lot of board gaming like this. So this is probably just something I'm going to be able to enjoy down to my friendly local game store, but I'm extremely glad I got to play this. If anybody ever pulls this game out and you think it's too heavy or too hard, sit down and give it a turn. You'll pretty much get a really good feeling for it right after the first whole round is over with. It took everybody, that first turn where we actually programmed our moves and everything, and then all of us moved around. And then once everybody kind of just looked at each other and said, okay, we can screw each other over big time, everybody really got very cautious with what they were doing and very secretive in where they were moving and where they were looking on the board. So it was a very good game. I can't say enough about this. The pieces, as far as the board game, was really good. All of the little cardboard pieces I had to punch out, which there was a shitload, were all very well constructed. The dial that you use to actually set up your 6 turns, which we were calling our little programmer, is really cool, and it's just a really, really cool mechanic to a board game. I had a blast playing this, and I would definitely suggest anybody that has a chance to play this game, give it a shot. All right, a couple of the other things that I played over the weekend. I finished Shadow of Mordor. Friday night, I probably should have been streaming this, and I don't know why I wasn't. I think because I was kind of just getting really tired. And I actually really do finish it. But I was kind of sitting around and I said, well, let me just try to go through. I had 2 more quests to do in the main storyline. So I sat down and knocked those out, running around just killing orcs and doing different things and just finishing up some of the side quests here and there. And before I knew it, 2 to 3 hours later, probably closer to 3 hours, if not more. And I pretty much just had one more side quest to do. And I kind of was just sitting there and I was yawning. But I said, all right, I got to push forward through this. Finish the last quest, took a picture, and I should post it up on the website. I don't know why I didn't earlier. But I have 100% completed the game. I do have a couple of trophies to still obtain, which I want to be working on, probably as I work through the DLC, because I have this feeling this once they do come out with a little bit more DLC, I will be getting the season pass for this, because I think I only spent about 42 hours to hit the 100% mark of the game. And well, I think it's the perfect time in this world. I'm not done with this game yet. I don't feel like I'm done. I don't want to be done. I know it says I'm 100%, but the game is. I just have not been able to put that damn controller down from the PS4, and I mean, Shadow of Mordor could probably be easily my game of the year so far this year, and I can't say enough about it. So after I had finished that Friday night, Saturday, I came upstairs and sat down in front of the computer. And I said, what the hell? Let's get Civilization. I have a couple of friends that I work with that have we're going to be doing, like I think I mentioned in some previous podcasts, we're actually going to be doing some multiplayer that I'll probably be streaming out to the Twitch channel. I'm not really too sure when we're going to be starting that. One of my friends is actually he may not be available for a couple of weeks, but expect to see quite a bit more Civilization Beyond Earth from me. Probably going to be my next time sync for a little while, but we're going to try to do a few more things probably on the Saturday stream than just Civilization, but maybe for the next Saturday or 2, that will be what I'm playing. Also over the weekend, I kind of was sitting around screwing around on my phone a little bit, and I had made the Room 2 before. I had purchased this a while ago, and I actually just was kind of sitting there one night and just started playing it, and before the first chapter, it's just as good as the first one right now so far. It's, if you haven't played The Room on either the iPhone or on an Android device, definitely pick it up. The Room 2 is just as good. I wanted to start playing through the Room 2 and try to get through this, because it sounds like the beginning of 2015, the developer is actually coming out with The Room 3. So I kind of didn't want to be too left behind on this one and not finishing the second one since I had already finished the first one. So far, the first chapter of the second one is just, I don't want to say it's left off where the first one ended, because it is in a different room. But as far as being able to draw you in, being a mobile style game, the room and the room 2 are probably some of the best mobile um, since owning Android, an Android phone. And I download a ton of games on the phone that I don't talk about here on the podcast. But the Room and Room 2 are definitely ones you do not want to pass up, and you don't want to miss. And then, of course, last week, one of the last things I played was Dice Masters Avengers vs. X-Men. I went to my organized play on Tuesday. Cannot wait for Wednesday of this week for Uncanny X-Men to be released, but we'll talk about that in a second. Avengers vs. X-Men, we played through the tournament really quick. I was able to, because I was quite successful and was able to win again at my little organized. There were only a couple of us there, so it really wasn't that difficult. Really didn't have a whole hell of a lot of people to play through. But then we sat down and we actually kind of played the game the way it was supposed to be played. I didn't use any super rares because the guy that I was playing against still doesn't have a full collection of cards. So I kind of held off on playing any super rares, but we went back to playing just a normal 20 dice, 8 character game, whereas we're normally kind of playing organized play. We're either playing with nobody with a lower cost of 4, or maybe we're only using 10 dice instead of 20 dice. And it really changes the strategy of the game, and it really changes the whole dynamic of the game when you're playing a modified version, a roll version like that, when we're using kind of, for lack of a better term, house rolls that are at our low gaming play. When we were done with everything, we had some time. The one guy and I kind of just sat down and I said, let's just play normal rules. I go, I have a deck that's kind of constructed. I go, I'm not going to use any super rares. I basically just replaced Serena with Ghost Rider because he was a 2-cost character, and he had similar to me, but enough different cards from me that it made the game really fun. We weren't basically playing 8 cards against 8 cards that were all the same, and we had a blast. It was probably some of the most fun I've had playing Avengers vs. X-Men, the Dice Masters game, since I started playing this. And it really makes me excited for Uncanny, especially because I know a lot of people really have been coming down to the last few weeks because they're kind of just getting, I don't want to say bored of Avengers vs. X-Men, but I think they're kind of just looking for something new. And I think Uncanny right now is going to breathe a lot of life back into the Dice Master game. I'm hoping that a lot more guys will show up this week or next week, because the game, the released Uncanny is not actually released till Wednesday. So I'm hoping that next week, and I think, well, actually not even next week, because I think Saturday we're having an organized play tournament down at our local game store. So that should give me enough time to go through a couple of my starters, and I will probably be opening one of those boxes of Gravity Feeds, probably live on Twitch, or maybe I'll be streaming it out to Google Hangouts. I'm not really too sure which one yet. So keep that, keep an eye on Twitter for that. But that's kind of going to lead into the games I want to play now. Basically, the games that I kind of just talked about. I want to play more. I want to play Dice Master Uncanny X-Men. I can't wait to get my hand. I already have another dice case that I received from Amazon, so I am ready to go. I'm ready to start building teams. I have enough room in my binder to put this whole Uncanny set in there, and I can pretty much just have both sets right next to each other, and I just want to get the whole set completed already. So hopefully I don't have to pick up 2 out of the 2 Gravity Feeds I have coming in. I'm hoping to get at least, it would be so nice to get 3 if I can, and maybe just have to buy one of the super rares off of eBay or maybe from somebody down at the store. If I can, it would be, do not have to go to eBay again to purchase the cards, but I was able to put the Avengers and X-Men set a bit, but I'm hoping Uncanny is going to cost me a little bit less. And then, of course, Civilization Beyond Earth. I cannot wait to play a little bit more of this game. I've been waiting for this game for a while. A lot of us have, a lot of guys that I work with have been talking about this game for quite a while. And I have a feeling, like I said, that I'm going to be sinking quite a few more hours into that game before we move on to something else. And that's about it. So send us some email, whatimplayingnow@gmail.com. Let us know what you're playing now. Follow us at What I'm Playing Now The Twitter follower account is growing week by week. You can also find us on Google plus.google.com/the plus sign what I'm playing now podcast. And of course, look for me to send out messages on Twitter and it'll let you know when I'm going live on Twitch, twitch.tv/what I'm playing now. So 47. Everybody have a good week. Go play some games and send me some email and let me know what you're playing now. We'll see you later. Thanks for watching.